If it's a day called today, we're talking guitars and life. Could this $200 Gibson guitar be any good? Let's talk about it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, man. Good to be on another journey with you. If you hang on the channel, what you know is we're turning our attention to Les Paul style guitars under $300, really under $200. And can they be any good? So we've been working on a Jaymz Kit Guitar. You can find that in the playlist in the description below if you want to check that out. But I've been on a journey, man. So far on the channel, we've talked a lot about budget tellies. We did a whole lot of budget strats most recently. And I think I've got my answer for budget tellies and budget strats. And I think y'all know what I'm talking about. If you hang out on the channel, you already knew that. Hey, if you're new, man, welcome. Come along the ride at Ted Talks Guitars and Life, man. You're going to find some cool folks in the chat, in the comments, man, talking guitars and life. Lots of people with lots of experience who know tons more about all of this than I do. So, man, welcome. Welcome to Ted Talks Guitars and Life. Well, I've got the Jaymz Kit Guitar. It runs $179 on Amazon. I'll drop a link in the description below if you want to check those out. And I wanted to get a sub $200 Les Paul copy style guitar, and that was prefabbed, and compare the two of those. So we're going to be doing that in the videos down the road. Well, let's talk about my first Gibson guitar and maybe my last. So this guitar plays out of the box. All the electronics works. Hey, by the way, man, I'm going to put the unboxing vid and I'm going to put some tone samples at the very end of this. If you want to fast forward down there to the unboxing and check that out of the tones, go on and check that out right now. But if you want to hang out and just talk a little bit about my experience with my TEMU Gibson guitar, then we can do that, you and I, right this very second now. So the guitar functions out of the box. What I mean is I've already plugged it in. Surprisingly, this guitar is mostly intonated. And when I say mostly, I mean maybe just a couple of strings slightly off. Now, I didn't expect it to be intonated really even at all. So any way down the road is a good way, if you feel what I'm saying. So pretty much intonated. The guitar doesn't really hold tune very well. These strings are horrible. The action is mile high, as you might imagine. The frets are super duper scratchy, man. You can probably hear that right there. And you know what I expect, man, when you buy a $200 guitar, sub $200 guitar. This guitar arrived at my door. I'm $217 in. That's the guitar, tax, title, license, no shipping fee, shipped from California. So somehow it made its way from China to California, from California to my house for $217. So for $217, man, what you expect, right? Well, I expected a guitar that would have scratchy frets, and that's exactly what I got. I expected a guitar that had some little roughness on the fret edges, and that's exactly what I got. I got a guitar that the action would be high. That's exactly what I got. I expected a guitar that the nut slots would not be cut to my satisfaction or player preferences, and that's what I got. I expected to have two humbuckers, which I have, a three-way switch, which I have, 2 volumes and 2 tones. I'm sure when we do under the hood, this will be a basic import jack. And I expected lots of imperfections, and I have lots of imperfections. Now, a lot of people say I'm picky, man. I'm just, tell the truth or shame the devil around here at Ted Talks Guitars and Life, man. So I've got a little bit of a spec right here that I'll show you when we do some close-ups later on down the road. that seems to be under the finish. I can't get that off. I've got some scratches around the pick guard. Looks like if somebody played this way, I don't know how those scratches got there. I've got some swirlies on the back of the guitar. That's sort of expected. I've got a little bit of weird, funky stuff right here that I think will come off with some cleaner. Up here on the first fret, I've got some weirdness, man. It looks like glue and scratches and other kinds of things. When we do under the hood, I'll get you real close in here. You can take a gander at that. Got a little bit of funk around the truss rod cover. Yeah, man. So I've got some imperfections, okay? And that's all right, man. Sub $200 guitar, I ain't mad at slight imperfections. I know how to deal with the fret edges. I know how to level and crown frets. I'm imagining we have a couple high frets, but I don't know yet. We'll find that out together when we go under the hood and talk about the fretboard and the fingerboard and all that kind of good stuff. It's got, though, those imperfections aside for a moment. Okay. Oh, there's one big kind of downside to this. And this is just me. And just get ready to type in the comments right now. Just get ready. What'd you expect? I mean, really? Okay. So before you jump to what did you expect land, the guitar I was looking at TEMU was more of a iced tea. I call this more of a cherry burst. It kind of in the monitor looks a little bit more iced tea than it does in person. In person, it looks like a cherry burst to me. But this guitar was supposed to be like a 59 reissue Duane Allman. It had like if you ever had a Les Paul that had like the metal indicators of where you were in your volume, you know, that little triangular thing that sticks up, that was pictured in the picture. In the picture, it wasn't so much tiger stripey. It looked more iced tea, if you will. It was a little bit aged. It wasn't quite a relic, but it was VOS, Vintage Original Specs, I think is what they called it. So I don't really know what this is. I just know that it's not the guitar that was pictured, okay? Now you can type it in the comments. What did you expect, Ted? Well, I kind of expected to get the right guitar. I did not. I did not find it worth sending it back and doing the refund and ever trying to find that same guitar again because it took me a long time to find it and turned out not to get it. I'm not really a fan of these green kind of tuners here, and I know that's kind of the vintagey thing. It does feel more like a 50s neck. It's not a thinner neck like would be on a 60s LP. It is a little chunky, and I like that in a Les Paul. In a Les Paul, I want to feel the chunk a little bit on the neck. That's player preference thing, man. You do you. You like a thin neck, get you one. But for me, man, I like the feel of a Les Paul neck to be a little thick. I'm not crazy about the Gibson logo. I'm not crazy about all this up here, okay? I looked at several vendors. I contacted several vendors on TEMU. I asked them specifically, can I have this guitar without the logos? And I couldn't really find anybody that would play that game with me, okay? So I just went all in. It is what it is. So, you know, there's some downsides to it. It's not exactly the guitar I ordered. There are some imperfections. The strap button here really isn't seated. I can turn it. And, you know, just some things, man. Okay, I wasn't expecting it to be perfect, and guess what? It ain't perfect. The good of it is that I do like the neck. Everything functions. If you want to fast forward to the playing samples, you'll see that the guitar plays. The tuners, I don't think it's the tuner's fault that I'm having some tuning stabilities. I think it's more the nut, and I think it's a combination of these strings and some other factors. So I'm going to reserve judgment on the tuners. They are not, there's no slack in them. They're not super tight either. They're just about right. I mean, for tuners, I think those are pretty good, actually. So I like the neck. I like the tuner so far. I do have to file the nut, as I've already mentioned. I have not set the guitar up, but when I do, I'll throw some new strings on it. I'll lower the strings. I'll tweak the truss rod and do all the things. But it did play out of the box. This guitar weighs 9.6 ounces, which for this old man is a bit of a chunk. So my next Joyful Noise gig, should I take this guitar, I'm gonna need to sit on this stool and do my little stuff in the background, you know, get in where I can fit in, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, everything functions. The fit and finish, I mean, there are some imperfections, but this appears to me to be one piece of wood. It is a it's a two-part body, in that it's a neck and a body. This is obviously not one piece, and the binding here is kind of weird, where it's just kind of a hard line there. Don't much care for that, but I can live with it, because I ain't never gonna see it, because I play the guitar like this, not like that. So that's okay for me, man. So it feels pretty good. It played out of the box. Now, I do have a little kind of weirdness around the nut, and I don't know if that's just glue or what that is, but you know, man, again, I'll address that when we go under the hood, and we'll get close-ups of all this, because I just want you to be aware, man. Somebody told me the other day, you just complain about everything. You expect perfection, you know. Your hands must be really soft if you're complaining about frets. Guys, I'm trying to give you an honest assessment. YouTube is filled with people who are buying any kind of product and telling you it's great, whether it's great or not. I ain't gonna do that to you, man. If it's junk, I'm gonna tell you it's junk. If it's okay, I'm gonna tell you it's okay. If it's all right, I'm gonna tell you it's all right. If it's fantastic, I'm gonna tell you it's fantastic. And I ain't gonna lie, cheat, or steal about that, man. I'm gonna live by my own standards of integrity. So that said, man, I think it's worth $200, man, for an LP copy. Now, the headstock, the ethical issues of this saying it Gibson on it and all that, I'll leave that to you guys to fret about. I ain't worried about it, man. If I ever went to sell this guitar, the first thing the ad would say, not a Gibson. I'm calling this guitar N.A.G. N-A-G, not a Gibson. I ain't playing about that. I ain't trying to fool anybody. In every video that I make about this guitar, if I test products with it or shoot it out, I will say in every one of those videos, this is not a Les Paul, this is a Gibson. This is not a Gibson made in America guitar. I ain't trying to play that. If I had the skill set to sand all that down and paint it black and it looked that good, just black, I would do that. Anybody who's been on the channel knows I can't do that. You've seen the guitar necks that I can do. So, yeah, who knows, man. Maybe one day down the road I'll do that, or maybe I'll move this on sooner than later. I don't really know what I'm doing yet. I dig the dark kind of amber knobs, tone knobs and volume knobs. I actually have some speed knobs that are the exact color of these, and I may just swap those out should I keep the guitar. Well, man, I'm going to put the unboxing vid up next, and there's some sound samples too. First impressions for me, I like it more than I thought I would. I thought it would be lesser quality. Truthfully, I really did. I thought it would be junk. I thought it would be killing my hands, which it is really not. It plays. Is it fantastic to play? No, it's not. Is it comfortable to play? No, it's not, man. The strings are too high and all the things that you would expect, perhaps with a budget guitar. The frets are really scratchy, which we've been through all that. I'm not trying to restate or litigate all the reasons that I don't think it's a great guitar. I wouldn't say it's a great guitar. I would say it's a good guitar. And I think, here's the secret, man. I think this good guitar could be a great guitar with a few tweaks, with a few mods. Let me know, man, if you listen to the sound samples, if you have the kind of patience to sit through what's next. I'm going to ask you to put in the comments what you think of the pickups, how they sound to you. Let me know, man. I'd love to hear your feedback and your input about that. It is unedited Ted playing guitar, and nobody, and I mean nobody, comes to Ted Talks Guitars in Life to hear me play the guitar. We're here to talk about guitars in life, not you be amazed at my playing. If you want to be amazed by somebody's guitar playing, go to other channels like J-Man and other folks. But for me, man, I'm just on a quest. I'm on a quest to find an LP style guitar for under $300 that plays well and sounds well, and when I see it, I want to pick it up and play it. I don't know that when I see this, I want to pick it up and play it quite yet. It is growing on me the more I look at it. It's settling in a little bit with me. But that being said, guys, we are on an adventure. Check out the unboxing. If you want to see the condition of the guitar right out of the box, check out the sound samples if you want to hear what it sounds like without any work being done. I haven't done anything to it. And then, man, in future vids, what we'll do is we will do what we always do, man. We will go under the hood. We will take this guitar apart. We will look at every component, and we will begin the process of turning this not great guitar into a rock and roll machine, Jack. Stick around, man. It ought to be fun. If you like this kind of content, why don't you like the video? Consider subscribing to the channel. Come back anytime and hang out with us at Ted Talks Guitars and Life. And now, let's get back to it. Got some good sustain. Oh, so out of tune. I'll say again for the record, I checked with several sellers on TEMU to get this to not have a logo on it. I could not find anybody that would do that for me. So, that being said, it is what it is. It will be what it will be. And I intend to get this guitar set up to my player preferences and rock out with it and make a decision whether or not I will keep it. Well, hey man, thanks for hanging out with me, man. I appreciate you guys being on another crazy ride at Ted Talks Guitars and Life. You know, my friend Ryan, he always gives like a 3-word kind of summary of things. I'm going to give you my 4-word summary of this guitar. You ready? It's more than okay. All right? It's more than okay. It's not great. It's not blowing my hair back. It's not junk. I don't hate it. I ain't mad at it. I think with some TLC, man, it's just okay. Is going to go to, it's a great guitar, man. Because here's the thing, guys. If it sounds good to your ears, if it feels good to your hands, and when you see it, you say, hey, man, we got to hang out. Let me holler at you. That is a great guitar, man. Hey, wherever you are in your guitar journey, I pray it's a long, smooth, safe, joy-filled ride for you, Jack. Rock on with your bad selves, Gibson or not, baby. Catch you down the road.